Matt Unruh here with DC3 Broadcasting with Phil Stephenson, and head baseball coach, and a very happy baseball coach as he's making his first trip to the NCAA. NJCAA. I'll just say JUCO World Series in Grand Junction. That's a little easier, but like you said during the broadcast, you have not your first time being in Grand Junction as a player, but first time as a coach now.
Well, yeah, I played there a long time ago for a summer collegiate league team. I won't go how far back it was, but it was actually 1979. It was after my freshman year in college, and played for the Grand Junction Eagles. And the stadium was not like you're going to see it if people go or see it on TV now. It was a lot different then, but still in the same place, same ballpark. Of course, they've made a lot of improvements to it, but be interested to see if anybody remembers me from playing there, how long ago that was. But what a thrill it is for not only our players and our staff, but I got to believe also for the school and the community that we were able to pull this off this past week in Wichita and get this opportunity to go on to the Junior College World Series.
A nice spotlight on the Conks and on the baseball program right now, and representing the Region 6 and the Jayhawk Conference. And let's talk about how you got there, Coach. You start things off, and we talked about it in pregame of the Neosho game, how important Game 1 and Game 2 is just to be on the winner side of the bracket, but you pull off the 5-2 win over Neosho, a big third inning, as we'll see a trend here in the third inning. 3 runs in the third, and that's pretty much what you guys averaged all tournament. But Leno Ramirez starting off the tournament right, 4 for 4, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and Luke Crabb doing his thing until a strange game with the 2-hour rain delay.
Well, the first 2 games for us involved not only the first day with Seward and Coffeyville playing 14 innings and putting everybody behind, and then of course us getting rain in the 6th inning, which basically ended Luke Crabb's day at that point. And I believe we were up 4-1. Or 4-2.
Yeah,
I think it was 4-1 at that time. But we got off to a good start in the 3rd inning. Had a couple of big hits, Leno being one of them, and Josh I think had one if I'm not mistaken. But we got a 3 spot and got things rolling. And it seemed like throughout the tournament, the second time all of our guys saw a pitcher, they got really good swings or had a great at bat against the pitcher, and it translated into runs. And that was the way we started with Neosho. And then Luke was pretty sharp. He wasn't as good as he was in the championship game, but he was pretty sharp. His pitch count was getting up there in the 6th inning, and when the rain delay came, we weren't sure how long it was going to be. At first it was lightning, and so that put a 30-minute delay automatic. And as the rains continued, and we continued to wait and wait, we just decided, no, we're not going to risk putting him back out there or do anything. You risk maybe hurting a guy in that situation. So we decided at that point, Neosho had a couple of 3 left-handed hitters, pretty good to their lineup, and we decided to go to Matthew Perea when we came out of the rain delay. And he wasn't sharp when he came out in the 6th inning. He ended up giving up a run.
An inherited run, yeah.
Yeah, and was, I believe, on a wild pitch, if I'm not mistaken. But after that, he kind of settled in. He got a couple base runners on in 1 inning, but he was able to pitch his way out of it and really keep Neosho under control. And we added another run, I believe, later on, thanks to an error on another base hit by Ramirez. And probably if I'd have done a better job being down the baseline, I would have seen that sooner and not seen it too late and stopped Johnny and then sent him. Might have got him another RBI that way. But all that being said was that we pitched well, and every time you and I talked before a game, we talked about that's our MO. That's who we are. We need to pitch well. We need to keep the game under control. Find a way to get some hits offensively and play good defense. Well, we didn't play good defense in that game. We made mistakes, but we were able to work our way out of it. I believe we made 3 or 4 errors in the game.
4 errors.
And, that's not like us. But we pitched our way out of it, and on one of the errors, I know a guy rounded the base too far, and we had a guy coming in behind him, made well from shortstop, came in behind. When Leno made an error, he turned and flipped it to him, tagged the guy out, and we got out of the inning that way. Instead of it being bases loaded with 2 outs, we were able to get out of that inning, and I think that was big for Perea as well.
Yeah.
And then I think after that game, I think we kind of settled down a little bit. We had I think we had some jitters. We had not sure how this is going to go. Obviously, for all of our guys, it was the first time.
Yeah.
But, we did what we've done most of the year, which was pitch very well and made key defensive plays and got key hits when we needed to and came out of there with a 5-2 victory.
You get the 5-2 victory, like you said, and then you take on Butler, a team you've seen plenty of. You split with them during the year, and you pull out the 7-5 victory. A little more even on the scoring. 2 runs in the first, 2 in the third. So third inning once again, 2 in the fifth, and 1 in the sixth. It just seems like, especially in the games that you guys get the W, Coach, the heart of the order, the 3-4 hitters are doing spectacular. Leno Ramirez, Josh Williams, 2 hits on the day, 2 for 5 for Leno, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Josh Williams, 2 for 3, 2 runs, an RBI, and a walk.
Well, if those guys are swinging it well, it's going to be good for us, and of course you got to have some table setters, and Johnny Balsamo's been a table setter all year. I thought the key in that game was the fact that we came out, we'd been sitting around another 2.5 hour extra rain delay on games earlier, and by the time we got the game started, we'd been sitting around for quite a while, not only at the hotel but also
about a 10 o'clock start.
Yeah, at the ballpark, and Andrew wasn't very sharp. Andrew Riddell wasn't very sharp in the first inning. He was really struggling to find, pitches in the strike zone, trying to work ahead. Just wasn't very good in the first inning. I thought it was very key that we came right back out and got 2 runs for him and got the game back to 3-2 after the first inning. And then he kind of settled in, and we took the lead in the the third, and then he comes back out and he can't find the strike zone. I think he walked 4 in the inning before it was all said and done. And Bub was able to find his way out of it with just the 1 run, which, kept us tied. And we got 2 more in the 5th, and Leno hit a home run in the 6th to give us a 3-run lead. And then in the 7th, Andrew went back out, and the first pitch he threw was right down the middle to their first baseman, and he hit it out.
Led off with a homer.
He hit it out, and I said, that's enough. And Lane Downing, who's been one of our weekend starters, guy we talked about, we moved to the bullpen because we felt he could bounce back quicker, comes in and has a dominating performance for 3 innings. And gets the save and holds us right there. And, we made the 7-run stand up, get a 7-5 victory. And, we still had made 2 or 3 errors in that game, but I thought we also made some really great defensive plays. Jordan Doan made one in the outfield, and I can't remember if it was against Neosho or Butler, but one of those 2 that guy hit a ball in the gap, and he made a great running kind of lunging type catch with runners on base that probably saved a game for us.
I think he had a lot of putouts in that Butler game too.
And
6 or 7 hit his way.
So we made some great defensive plays. We had some good hitting at the right time, and even though that game, we had moments where we pitched well. Andrew just wasn't very sharp, but Lane was, and was able to finish out the game in the last 3 innings and pull away with a 7-5 victory. And that's the game where everybody thought we'll face Cali in game 2, and Butler beats them in the first day, puts them in the losers bracket, which changes things. And you and I talked about, if you win game 1, that's great, but if you don't win game 2, you're right back as if you lost game 1. And what you got to get to the point of winning the first 2, which we were fortunate to do. So was Fort Scott, and it really helps with rest for your pitchers. How many guys you need to use, all that sort of thing, and makes it very advantageous. Even if you lose game 3 like Fort Scott did, they still had a guy to come back to try to get back to the championship series. It didn't work out for them, but you'd rather be in that position than lose game 1 or game 2, and which means then you got to play 7 games to win the whole thing. And for us, we only had to play the 5. So our 4 starters worked the first 4 games, and then Lou Crabb came back in game 5, and it worked out great for us.
Yeah, and you only used 2 guys out of the bullpen the whole tournament.
We only used 5 pitchers the entire tournament. I think Callie used 5 or 6 in one game.
Yeah.
And so did some other people at times. And that's a tribute to, our guys, coaching staff, just how consistent we are and how the ability the guys have of being able to not only throw strikes, but work both sides of the plate and throw their off-speed stuff for strikes consistently. And those things are important and keeping pitch counts down. And our guys were able to do that for the most part, with the exception of the 2 complete games that we had, where I probably let guys go more than I would have normally. But in those situations, maybe you just have to a little bit, because they are still getting people out. And you want to save as many guys as you can.
With those complete games with Mythe Lowe, which we'll talk about here shortly, Mythe Lowe and Luke Crabb to clinch the championship, does the fact that you guys have a week and a half until Grand Junction or your next action have anything to do with it, and the fact that this is it if you lose?
Well, that helps, having a week and a half, but the bottom line is you lose, you're going home.
I felt a little shaky in that first, and didn't score in the bottom half of the inning, but then second inning, that's when you blew up 5 runs.
Yeah, and their sure-handed shortstop with 2 outs and the bases loaded, Johnny hits a ball at him, and he hits it firm. And it takes a little bit of a in-between hop and kind of comes up on him, handcuffs him, bounces away, and we get our first run. And then we follow it up with a walk, base hit, I think, or
I think it was 5
something like that.
Consecutive hits that inning.
But we ended up putting up the 5 spot. Of course, all of them were unearned, but the bottom line was that we took advantage of a mistake that they made. And teams weren't able to do that against us in the tournament. But Russ was outstanding. Again, trying to find his way in the first inning, wasn't very sharp. Came back out, 3 up, 3 down the second. We put up the 5 spot. He goes back out, 0. And it's extremely important anytime that you score runs, if you can go back out and put up a 0, it keeps the momentum in the game on your side. And Russ was outstanding. And he wasn't as sharp as I've seen him, but he had moments where he pitched really well, kept them away from getting runners in scoring position, kept getting outs. Of course, in the 4 straight innings that we scored, we go from being down 2-0 to up 10-2, and end up winning the game 10-3. And Russ came into the last inning at 119 pitches, and we're up 10-2. It's like, maybe we need to get another guy some work and go there. And Russ is like, no, I want to go out and finish it. Well, normally about 120 is about the max we usually let guys go, and I thought, okay, I'll let him get up to 130. Well, the first guy gets on, then he gets a ground ball double play, 5-4-3. I'm like, okay, we'll let him finish it. Then the guy hits a double. Then the guy hits a single. So I got to the mound with the intention of taking him out, because Fort Scott's leading hitters at the plate, a kid named Caden Schaefer. And Russ had handled him pretty well during the day.
Yeah.
I go out there and all the players are talking to me. They're going, oh, coach, leave him in, let him finish, leave him in, let him finish. Of course, they're all talking. And I finally said, hey, fellas, there's only one guy I need to hear from here. And he hasn't said a word yet. And that's Russ. I said, Russ, how you feel? And he goes, oh, I'm okay. I said, you're not hurting? There's no soreness? You're not something bothering you, back or anything, legs, anything? And he looks at me and he goes, Coach, I got this. Okay. I said, don't make me come back out here. And of course he gets called 3rd strike on the guy looking and ends the ball game. And at that point you're sitting there going, okay, now we're 1 win away from making it. And doesn't matter who comes back through, they're either going to throw their best guys on short rest, or they're going to have to throw somebody down, way down in their pitching staff. And so it came to be Callie, in the Fort Scott game, and we went with Lane Downing, who had thrown the 3 innings. He got the save in game 2.
Yep.
And of course, he was outstanding. He threw really well, didn't deserve to lose. Their guy was better. Parker Rigler came in on 2 days rest, threw 140 some pitches, struck out 11 of us. And that is probably the other game where I thought offensively we were a little uptight. We didn't adjust to him and his velocity very quickly. And very uncharacteristic of us to strike out that many times. And, we did make an adjustment in the third inning, and we're able to get 3 runs on the board, and we were making it stand up until, they got a base hit, and then their 9-hole hitter, who had a couple home runs on the year, hits a home run. And, he got it up and where the wind was blowing that direction, and he got backspin on it, and the ball just kept carrying, and, they tied the game. And I was like, well, all right, we'll figure something out here. We're going to go. And then he walks the next guy. So I'm like, I'm going to go get him. And then Perea comes in, and he throws extremely well. He jams the 2-hole hitter, and the guy drops it in right over. If first baseman's back, he catches the ball in his back pocket, but he's holding the runner on. They couldn't even run at first base till they saw the ball drop, was how close it was to being caught. And the ball drops, they end up first and second, and then we wild pitch him up in the order. And I thought, well, maybe we can afford to give up 1 run. We can't afford to give up 2 with how well Rigler was throwing. Yeah. So we bring the corners in a little bit with a left-handed hitter, and I kind of keep my first baseman just behind the bag, and our middle infielders are back. And he rolls over and hits a 2-hopper right to Ricky. And Ricky should have come to get the ball harder, because I knew they were going to run from third. They've got their best runner at third base. And he waits on the second hop instead of coming to get it. And by the time he did that and he looked home to make the throw, it was probably too close. And he didn't throw it. He stepped on the bag, took the out. We're down 4-3, and then we never really mustered a threat the rest of the way. And, that's probably my mistake. Maybe I should have brought the infield in and forced them to, if we got a ground ball, to easily throw the guy out at the plate. But I just felt like we were still going to score. Yeah. I still felt like we were going to get to the guy. But hats off to him on 2 days rest. He's a sophomore. He's been through it a lot. He came through and won the ball game for him.
He's a kid that's, what I've heard is possibly going to be in the draft this year, and a kid that, you mentioned maybe we didn't make an adjustment against him. 11 strikeouts, 147 pitches, and according to the box score, 107 of those were strikes.
Yeah, he was in the strike zone, and we swung and missed way too much, and except for the third inning. And I just thought that our guys, our 4, 5, and 6 hitters just really struggled against him. We had the bases loaded and nobody out, up 3-1, and we could not get another run at that point. And got to credit the pitcher, but our hitters have to do a better job of getting on top of the baseball and finding a way to put that ball in play, whether it be into the outfield with a fly ball to get a sac fly, or something hard on the ground. Hopefully get it through the infield, but we weren't able to do so. And just that way that game shook out, that's how it ended up. And so we sit there and we go, okay, the guys are down. I understand they're down, and we have our quick meeting that we always have after every game. And I just talked to them and I said, hey, it's over with. It's 1 game. It's over with. Okay? They just threw their best guy. We got our best guy tomorrow. Okay? We're still in the driver's seat. We got to just come out, be ready to play, and be who we are. We weren't us today. We didn't do things offensively we're capable of doing. Credit the pitcher, but you also got to talk to your hitters about making those adjustments. And so we just came back with the same attitude that we've had all year. Even though we lost the game, come back, stay loose, have fun, and let's go see if we can get them on the last day.
Well, Phil, it's good that you guys came in with that attitude, because I think after Cali ended up beating Fort Scott the game before, that went 10 innings, they used 5 pitchers. Everybody's saying, okay, if Dodge is going to beat this team, they've got to beat them in the first game, because they're not going to be able to get them the second game. And that was kind of the attitude around at least in the press box,
right?
Anyways, and then we lose to Rigler, but like you said, Luke Crabb on the hill, we saw what he's been doing all year. And he probably had one of his best pitching performances against the #1 team in the nation for the championship.
Right. And excuse me, we talked about it right before the game started. We had a good session of batting practice. Guys were loose. I thought we had a decent infield. And as soon as the national anthem was over, I gathered them up, and I just reminded them, just got to be who we are. We play our best, and we do what we're capable of doing. It's good enough to win. and we just have to be us. And I said, we got the best guy on the mound. You know, just relax, play, enjoy the moment, have fun. We did.
Yeah.
That's what it boiled down to, and Luke was absolutely incredible. You know, he had all 3 pitches working. He was changing speeds with his cutter. He got a lot of weak fly balls. I think 3 of their 4 hits were either off the end of the bat or the one bunt. One guy hit one hard that drove in the run.
I know the first 2 were infield singles.
Yeah, he was just as dominant as I've seen him. You know, but we've seen him do that throughout the year. You know, we saw him beat Seward 1-0 here. You know, there's been a lot of times that you know, he's lost some tough, close ball games, being the number 1 guy facing somebody else's number 1. So his record wasn't spectacular, but we've seen him when he's been like that, and he was absolutely incredible. And then the fact that they came back with another guy, 2 days rest, unbeaten on the year, kid named Justin McGregor. Of course, they got a lot of guys that are unbeaten on the year when you only lose 3 games or 4 games like they'd done to that point. And he was sharp first couple innings. And then when Wakefield got the base hit, and then Balsamo got the base hit, and then Frankie got I think they ruled it an error. I don't know how they ruled that an error, but Frankie got the infield base hit. He was starting to get a little shaky, and then Leno just managed to hook a breaking ball right by the first base bag and just barely nicked the guy's glove, which actually I think might have helped us because it deflected the ball more into the corner, slowed it down, and then it got into that area where it might bounce anywhere. And it kind of took a bounce the outfielder wasn't expecting, and you know, we get 3 runs, he gets a triple, and at that point it's like I thought you know, they panicked because they immediately went to the bullpen because he'd given up basically 4 straight base hits. And it was the second time through the lineup, like I talk about. The second time we've seen the guy, we seem to make that adjustment. And they bring the left-hander in to face Josh. And, you know, I've kind of gone back and forth between him and Jason Nichols throughout the year. Depending on left-right. Of course, Josh had hurt his shoulder, you know, 3 days earlier, and we left him out for a couple of games. And when we have a lead, I leave him in there because he has that threat of being able to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And the wind was blowing from the right field corner to the left field corner, and his best power can be to left center.
Opposite field.
And sure enough, the first pitch is outer half, and it's up. And he lofts it up into the air, and you know, it's obviously going to score the run, but he got up in what little jet stream was there, and it just kept going and going, and leaves the ballpark 5-0. And I think at that point you could hear the air start to come out of him. And Luke goes out, and I thought it was very important he put up a 0 that inning, and he does. And then we go out and get 2 more, and if third baseman Benj doesn't make an unbelievable play on Jordan Doan, on the ball on the third pitcher they brought into the game, that he hits down the line after the wild pitch that made it 7-0. If that guy doesn't make that play, it's 9-0, and it's definitely over at that point. But he makes that play and kind of keeps them in the game, and then their kid threw the heck out of it after that. We didn't get a hit after the 4th inning. He no-hit us for the last 5 innings of the game. I think it was Mason McAllister. But even so, all he was doing was matching Crab at that point. And we were up 7, and Luke gave up the 2-out base hit that scored the guy for his only run in the 6th, and then he got around a couple of walks, I believe, in the 7th or 8th, and then he went back out in the 9th, and he came in after 8, and it was the same type of deal. You know, he was around 120 pitches. And he goes, I'm finishing this game. There's no way I'm coming out. And I think he was around 125, actually, and he goes back out. And, you know, I think the first guy got out, second guy got on, and then he induces a fly ball and a ground out to end the game, and pandemonium set in at that point. And, you know, for us, probably a lot of air came out at that point, a big sigh of relief and everything that goes with it, because Cali had made so many comebacks in the tournament on people, but it was earlier to get back to where they were close. They never got close in this game, and that's credit to Luke Crab and our great defense.
Especially after watching them versus Fort Scott, where they were what was it?
They were down 7-0 in that game too.
8-3, and they battled back with 3 runs in the 6th, 2 in the 7th to tie it, and then the 1 in the 10th to win it. It's like, wow, this is a potent offense.
It is. It was a very potent offense, but they weren't facing Luke Crabb.
No. Well, even Downing the day before. I mean, I think the least amount of runs they got before that game was 5, and the Kongs held them.
And we held them for 5 in 18 innings.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a credit to our guys, our staff, our the guys on the mound, everything that goes with it, and
the heart of the lineup too, Phil. That was a big thing. Garrett Binge was 0 for 8.
Yes,
in the 2 games, and then their 4-spot hitter. They had Dylan White the first game, 0 for 4. Corey Lynn, who's hit 3 homers in the tournament, went 1 for 4 with an RBI. That seems like the pitching staff did a great job against the heart of the lineup.
Well, and I think we did a pretty good job of keeping their first 2 guys off the bases as well. And the bottom of the order beat us in the first championship game on Monday night. Bottom of the order didn't do much. They didn't do much at all on Tuesday. They just couldn't solve Luke. And any ball that they hit hard, we were right there to catch it. And so when you have those things happen, you got to have a little luck, you got to have a lot of skill, and you got to make plays. And our guys did that, and it was an incredible feeling, to watch our guys dogpile first off in the middle of the field.
Any nerves there with Crabb in the bottom of the pile?
Oh, you're always worried about somebody getting hurt on the bottom, especially when there's a mass of humanity on top of them. But we were ecstatic as a coaching staff, and it's been 3 days since that victory, and just thinking about it still, I just can't stop smiling.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a great victory for our program, but I think as much as anything else, it's great for the school, it's great for the community, and you can find players to come to Western Kansas who could win championships.
Yep.
And it's taken us a while, but this group of kids is special, and they work hard, and they play hard, and they play smart, and the chemistry's good. They play well together, they enjoy each other's company, and now we got one more tournament. You got to try to figure out how to win.
Now, is it 8 teams at Grand Junction?
Be 10.
10?
There are 10 districts throughout the country.
Are they all set yet?
5 of them are. There's 5 more that'll be decided starting today.
Do you like being in this position where you can wait it out and see where the other teams?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, with us having finals week, we got back at 3:30 in the morning, Wednesday morning. Guys had finals starting at 8:30 in the morning. Some of them were making up finals for Monday and Tuesday. Yeah. So we've had guys that have been taking finals Wednesday, yesterday, and even today to get everything caught up and be finished. So they didn't, even though it had a great time celebrating, reality set in real quick when you got to come back and you got to finish up your schoolwork and do everything that you got to do with that. And for some of these guys, it's very important for moving on and what they're trying to accomplish, not only from a baseball standpoint, but also what they've got to do to move on in school. So hopefully they brought some stuff with them to do some studying while we were in Wichita, and they were prepared. I guess I'll find out in a few days how prepared they were at this point in time. But it was just a thrill. One of the greatest thrills I've had in baseball, and I've been fortunate to have quite a few of them. And but I've won a championship as a professional coach. The first year I coached professionally in what was an independent Texas-Louisiana league. We won a championship in Abilene, Texas, and we won a championship in Wichita when I was the AA hitting coach with what was then Wichita Wranglers with Royals organization. But this is that much more special, and a lot of it has to do with the guys. Just a pleasure to be around, fun they are to coach, how willing they are to learn and try to improve their game and get better. And now they get to go experience a moment of a lifetime of being a part of a World Series that very few individuals or teams get to be a part of. And so it's a thrill for us. It was a great victory on Tuesday night, but like always, we'll get back to practice today. It's over with. Put it in your memoirs. We got work to do to get ready for the next task at hand.
And this being filmed on, what is today, the 14th?
15th.
The 15th? Oh, it's been one of those weeks. We lost a lot of sleep on our end,
sure.
Phil. So the 15th of May, so it'll be another week before The Conchs make it to Grand Junction, but got to be a lot of confidence. I mean, playing probably one of the toughest regions out of the country, and having to beat the #1 team in the nation to get there. It's like, what's the caliber of team's going to be like at Grand Junction?
I can't see them being much better than Cali.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to play with anybody, but you gotta go out and do it. You can talk about it all you want, but you still got to go out and do it. And as we saw when we put some pressure on ourselves, just like Cali the other night, I think they felt the pressure when they fell behind, and they didn't, and the zeros kept mounting on the scoreboard. And each inning that zero goes up, a little more pressure gets mounted on. The teams they came from behind and beat, they played during the year. Other than playing us on Monday night, they hadn't played us. And they hadn't seen anybody like Luke Crabb on the mound. And if you can go out and play relaxed, have fun, enjoy the moment, let your abilities take over, and not let inner pressures get a hold of you, you can play this game pretty well. You're not always going to win, but you can play this game pretty well. And a lot of times players inflict more damage upon themselves by their own inner pressures or inner fears or inner weaknesses that they perceive, instead of just relaxing, doing what you can do, and enjoy the moment and play. And a lot of times it's tough to get kids to understand that and do that, but I think this group's been really good at it.
Well, it makes you wonder too, Coach, if having that #1 before your team name, if that adds pressure to you too, and if maybe that got to Cali a little bit in the last game.
It could have, but like I said, I just think as every inning that the zero went up and it got closer and closer to the end, they didn't get a hit in the last 3 innings. After the hit to drive in their only run by Lynn, they didn't get a hit the rest of the way. They got a couple of walks, but they didn't get any hits. And that has a lot to do, I think, with Luke Crabb, #1, but #2, that inner pressure that I talk about, because those guys feel that I've got to get a hit here, I got to get a hit here. You don't relax and play the game. You're more focused on your mind's into somewhere else. And sometimes you swing at pitches you shouldn't swing at, or you try to hit them too hard. Barrel drags, roll over, pop up. Had a lot of that on Tuesday evening by Cali. And I'm going to give Luke all the credit, but I'm sure as each zero mounted up on the scoreboard, that inner pressure got to them, and they weren't able to do the things that they've done in the past. Because they were expected to win. Nobody expected us to win. Everybody in the ballpark thought Cali was going to just walk right over us, and it would be over, and they would move on. And when we got up 7-0, 0-0-0-0-0, all of a sudden things look a little different, and their fans and their bench and everything that was making all the noise and excited and thrilled, even when they scored in the 6th, there was still that hesitation. They got excited, but not like we'd heard them before.
Well, the fact that they shut them down to only 1 run and it wasn't a crooked number in the 6th, I think was huge too, Phil.
It was. I think there was no doubt about that. And then, like I said, Luke was Luke and just kept working the corners in and out, and getting guys to swing at pitches they maybe not normally swing at. And that's how you win ball games.
We want to thank all the fans that showed up, that tuned in on the video live stream, listened on 1550 AM, the Sports Hound, conchsports.com, and keep following us. I'm not sure if we're going to do a video live stream, but we're setting things up for radio broadcast, 1550 AM, the Sports Hound, conchsports.com, and we'll discuss things with the athletic department to see if a video live stream will be going on as well. But
I can tell you this: you can go to fans can go to what's called the website is JUCO, JUCO, GJ for Grand Junction .org. It's JUCOGJ.org, and it tells you when games are going to be on. They stream every game. Now, I don't know if you have to pay for it or not. I don't have any idea, but every game is on. They don't do live TV, but they do stream the games from that site. And I don't know if there's a cost involved or what the deal is, but people can go to that website and look up information about anything. We play the feature game Saturday night May 23rd.
Prime time?
Prime time game, 7:30 their time, be 8:30 our time against Northwest Florida. And they won the Gulf Coast region. And don't know anything about them. We'll try to dig up information as we can and get things going and work from there. And you know, like I said, our guys are excited. It's going to be a thrill. We're going to leave Wednesday. We're involved with different events that are going on with the tournament. One of the events we get to do is what's called a Challenger baseball game. We're one of the 4 of the 10 teams that's volunteered to do this, where they have a handicapped special needs kids program that play baseball, and our guys get to go out and be with an individual kid and help them throughout the game and do that. And we have one whole field for ourselves that our guys will be up with both teams and be a part of the game and help them through it. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be a lot of fun for our guys to get to meet some really neat kids and hopefully create a little bit of a fan base when the time comes for Saturday night for us to play. Besides our own fans, maybe we'll create a little fan base while we're there as well.
As you can tell, Phil Stephenson just a little bit excited about going to Grand Junction and kick things off next Saturday, the 23rd. Tournament runs the 23rd through the 30th, depending on how deep the conks go, but looking forward to following you guys.
Well, it should be a lot of fun, and like I said, it's a great honor for us to be able to represent Region 6 in the Central District, and we plan on going there and representing well. You know, baseball's a funny game. Sometimes it falls your way, the bounces do, sometimes they don't. But you just got to go there and play. And if your best is good enough, you'll win. And that's what you got to try to find a way to get out of your kids is their best effort. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. But if you lay everything out on the field, and you think you put your best effort out there and your best foot forward, and you don't come out on top, you have no regrets. You don't feel like you could have changed anything or done anything different. And hopefully our guys will take that attitude, because that's how we won the region, and that's what we're going to do to have success when we go to the World Series.
It'll be fun. From Grand Junction, the JUCO World Series, Conks are headed there and start things off Saturday, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Okay, so tune in where you can. And Phil, good luck.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate all the effort you put in to do a lot of things for us, to follow us and give people the opportunity to keep up. And hopefully the people here at the school and in the town will be able to do some things to keep up with us. And I always appreciate all the texts and emails and everything I get from people congratulating us. And let's see if we can't do it one more time.
Well, for Phil Stephenson, I'm Matt Unruh. Thanks for watching, and go Conks.